Hey, y'all out there in YouTube world. I am recording today is March 8th, I think it is. I apologize for missing the first day of March. I actually am posting another video about my other challenges with water and kind of lessons about water in a different, more applied sense. I spent a good amount of Thursday and Friday underneath a house fixing some plumbing problems from the freezing weather um, that we had in January. It got to the point where I was just so exhausted. I could not get myself to walk all the way over here and lift my arms to do this. So, like things that we do sometimes we don't think that we can do them and then we succeed, or we don't, we kind of push ourselves to achieving things that we don't think that we can do, or push our bodies to something that maybe we don't think that we can do. So anyway, um walking over here, the things that I noticed going slow was birds, and the blooming and the blossoms are not happening as quickly over in this area. I discovered the term riparian zone that I've mentioned a couple of times in the videos, and if you are just stumbling on this, um, I am coming to you from Middle Tennessee. It is an area called the Western Highland Rim. Tennessee apparently has 9 geological zones. This one is really quite interesting, and it's also a watershed. This is the Buffalo River, and it's flowing pretty good today. You can kind of see the landmarks that we have is that tree that's got washed up a couple of years ago, and the mushrooms on that tree over there. The water is pretty high, but this area that I'm standing on is actually a lot more elevated than normal, and you can kind of see how the flow of the recent rains are digging out all of this stuff, right? So every time I come down here, it's going to be different, and that's what I think is really fun. So my commitment is to get down here. My commitment is every week, but life happens, and if I can get here every 2 weeks, at least I'm following through on something. So I appreciate if you have subscribed and you have watched any of these videos. There's a lot of content out there that is can suck you in, and might be more dramatic and exciting than the things that I'm showing. My intent for this is to be thinking about, and this conversation actually has come up several times for me, even in the last week, and also in a few of the other content creators that I watch, thinking about how quickly, and I mentioned this the last time, how quickly AI is changing our lives and might be setting us into a lot of anxiety or uncertainty, depending on what role you have in your professional life or personal life. Some people think that it's going to be amazing. Teenagers or kids are using ChatGPT to write their research papers. So there's a lot out there to kind of wrap our heads around. And for me, at this stage in kind of my life on the planet, I am trying to spend time in kind of feeling human, like human experiences in conjunction with nature. And that is how I'm kind of navigating the uncertainty of the world we live in, and disconnecting more and more from the enticement of social media and things like that. So when I do get on those, I, time goes so fast, and like you're scrolling and scrolling, you're consuming all of these other people's experiences without having our own experiences. And this is something I've been grappling with for years. So, this is just the way my brain works. But I welcome you to slow down and try to integrate these aspects of feeling human in any way that you can in your world, whether it be just, sitting down to eat and savoring the food, um, maybe turning off devices. Don't listen to like take out headphones when you are doing things in nature, like walking or exercising, so that you can like re-engage your senses into that experience and kind of like feeling of seeing a bird and hearing the bird, or hearing traffic, so you know where you are, right? And I think that's kind of a beyond like an experience of like immersion. Is also just kind of a safety thing too for us, like just being aware of our surroundings. um anyway, so um it's been a little windy, it's been a little rainy today. The wind is higher up on the bluff, obviously, and on the way over here. So we're going to read just a couple of small poems today, and I'm going to walk back up and we might see the birds. I'm also noticing where like a tree fell over, or had to get cut down because it had a hole in it or something like that, and then like more branches grow out of that. And I think that that's just like an enduring lesson of like resilience and persistence and life. And like, we might fall down, we might stumble, but we got to keep going, right? Okay, so normally I set us up over here, and I set the tripod up so that you can watch and enjoy the water, and then we'll go on a little walk back up the hill to see what this looks like from a couple hundred, like at least 100 feet elevation difference. So we'll get us set up. In the meantime, if you like this, apparently I'm supposed to ask you to like and comment for the algorithm stuff. So I appreciate that too. So some of the things that I try to encourage you to do and take these lessons into your daily life is notice what you're noticing and focus on colors and patterns and sensory things. The wind is blowing a little bit. Um, touching things, the difference in the texture of things, or, the sounds things can make are pretty fun. Here's a couple of rocks that have good, like, holes in them. I usually go back with I've never been someone to collect a lot of rocks, but now that I'm here, I tend to like take something with me every time. Okay, this one I think is really related to the time. It's a Japanese poem, Old Shoju, 1642 to 1721, translated by Lucien Strike and Takashi Ikimoto. It doesn't look like a haiku, it looks a little bit longer. One look at plum blossoms, open rune's eyes. Old Tan recites poems, is often in his cups. Want meaningless zen? Just look at anything. I think that's like my point, right? Just kind of pay attention to things and like turn things off so we're not distracted by all of the stuff that's being thrown at us, and the advertising dollars of like all the attention, right? And it is the season of cherry blossoms and plums right now where I am, so that's pretty cool. And Hanami in Japan, the celebration of spring and cherry blossom season, it's very much about like the beauty in fleeting moments, because the cherry blossoms um, pop out and they fly away pretty quickly. They're very delicate. So I'm already getting sprinkles of like little petals on the ground. All right. This one is by Ron Padgett, born 1942. It's titled Now You See It. What you don't see helps you see what you do see. The keyhole sharpens the thrill in your brain, even if there is no one in the room. Shadows wafting across the white sheets as song drifts in the window. Her voice so pure you can see the face it rises from. And for what you see helps you see what you don't see. Again, another poem to reinforce my encouragement of just trying to notice new things. And it takes a while. It's hard to do. You have to really make effort to put away the distractions. Okay, and then the last one for today. We are in the mindfulness section of this book. This is by Jane Hirschfield, born 1953. It's called Lighthouse. Its vision sweeps its one path like an aged monk raking a garden, his question long ago answered or moved on. Far off, night grazing horses, breath scented with oat grass and fennel. Step through it, disappear. Step through it, disappear. There are some rainstorms heading this way, so I'm going to collect my rocks. There's some driftwood too on the way. One of these rocks I'm going to have to carry. Apparently there's fossils down here that you can break open. I'm not really a geology person, so I don't really know what to look for, but I've had people tell me to look for things that are like big and round, and when you crack them open you can get crystals and fossils, so that's pretty cool. The colors are really interesting today. You can kind of start to see pops of, like, that is actually the like oak, the pin oak, where it doesn't lose its leaves until the new leaves come out. So like that color of brown over there is really interesting. And the deepness of the river this week, the last few times, it's been really like reflecting the sky and reflecting more lightness. So it is pretty cloudy today. Okay. And some of the things that we've been looking at through since the winter, when I started this, is like how the water flow is strong enough to wash away a lot of these like big weeds. So a lot of these were kind of waist high to me, and you can see like the deposits of trash that has gotten on the river, as well as remnants of leaves and sticks and stuff like that. So it's like nature sculpture a la Andy Goldsworthy, right? If you don't know him, look him up. And it's easy to carry like the flatter rocks, and I've gotten very kind of mindfulness obsessed with stacking rocks. So when I come down here and I find some, I usually put them in my pockets and carry them. Otherwise they get washed down the river, right? It's that impermanence of things. Okay, I'm walking through this section here, and there was a piece of driftwood. Oh gosh, where did I put it? Oh gee. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, gee. Here. Okay. Here's a good example of this tree root. It's like the root, it's almost like the branch kind of just got stuck here, and the new tree is growing out of it. A couple new trees. Yeah. Many new trees growing out of that. So I think that's a really great life lesson of being knocked down and how do we start over again? You know, we still have our essence, but we've transformed in some way. Okay, so I found this piece of driftwood, so I'm going to actually take that with me today. And there were some other fun rocks. Whoops, there goes my book. Can't leave that down here. Okay, so we can see how pretty, yeah, and you can see, I'm going to walk this way. So this becomes like a little pond, and how kind of steep the side is, right? So the water was pretty strong the last time it was down here. Sometimes I collect too many rocks and then I can't carry them all. Something is caught. It's a great spot in the summer when it's this not dried up and doesn't have a lot of, you know, fish food on top. More nature sculpture, waves making their patterns. I've talked about the ripple effect a few times, how our words can have an effect that we may or may not intend, positive or negative, ripples and ramifications. And in one of my other videos, I talk about water as like a life philosophy, and I show that book, Life of Water, and there's been experiments with, you know, even like high school science or whatever, that they try this experiment where you put water in containers, and then in one group you say positive things and like classical music and stuff like that, and then the other one is like dark and negative things and like harsh sounds. And when they put those molecules in water, I mean they are water, but when they change the temperature and let them turn into crystals, so they, you know, like they freeze them, the negative water, the water that received negative attention, cannot form symmetrical crystals, cannot form symmetrical snowflakes. The positive ones can form the beautiful symmetrical shapes. And I think that's really something to keep close to your heart, since we are made, humans have water in us, right? You can hear the birds. A few times ago, I talked about how fun it was that there's actually bamboo growing over here, so that's going to be interesting to watch. And if you can see that tree right there, like the tree stump, actually, excuse me, the tree is hollow, so it fell over and had to be cut down. But you can see that it's growing back. There are lots of other types of trees right around it, but then you can see like the two silver, it's almost like goalposts right there. And this one here, so the birds are flying around in that area. And as I come up here, I can feel the wind and the sprinkling of the rain. So we'll get to our spot. How the wind can move things in a subtle or strong way. Yeah, I would not have been able to do this last week. I couldn't really do much of anything else. So motivation for all of us to just keep moving at the pace that we can, and permission to like go slow and maybe not accept all of the invitations to do things, so we can spend time with ourselves. Oh, you can hear the wind, huh? Much different than down there. Okay, it's also starting to rain. Okay. All right, so let's go over to our finale spot. See the water from up above and notice how pretty green pops of colors are coming. I don't think there's that many leaves yet. Maybe next week. My pear trees are blooming, and the fruit trees, the plum and the peaches, are blooming. The maple tree has buds on it. The other trees are starting to do that too. Okay. Put this down for a second. Pockets are full of rocks. All the different colors of green and orange. From up here, you can really see the wind kind of on the surface of the water, which is really neat. And you can start to see the colors of the like silvery green in the distance of the farm turn into a brighter shade of green. I think the palette at this time of year is just really awesome. And if you want more information about the artist and writer, the artist and writer opportunities I have to be on this property, message me. And you can also look up the residency website to be able to come out here and enjoy this for yourself. All right, thanks. Have a great day. It is starting to rain, and I'm going to walk back and post this soon. See you next week.